So I just got back from the gym, and if you're watching this on video, you can see, I literally just got back and rolled right into my office to record this, because while I was there, I heard two women talking about how they could never run a 5K. And they were talking about it as if it was the most impossible thing in the world to them. And it probably was in their version of reality. And what it made me think about was over the weekend, my wife and I took our son up to the mountain. So we're over here in Oregon, Mount Bachelor, and they had a pond skimming contest. Now, I've never seen one before except for on TV, so we thought this is going to be great. Let's go watch it. And it was. But the reason I bring this up is, people are coming down in funny costumes and they're sliding across the water. Some make it, some don't. And you got judges, with a scorecard saying, hey, that person gets a 6, this person gets an 8, etc. This person gets a 1. People were doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and you could tell the alcohol was flowing for a lot of them, and they were really enjoying themselves, and so were we watching. But then one skier comes down, and this skier had a smile on his face as big as his whole head. It was huge. He was having a great time. He was on one ski. See, he was an amputee who only had one leg, and he was coming down, flying down the mountain, and he looked like he was having the time of his life. And because he looked like that, it was just infectious. The whole crowd was into it. He zipped across the pond and just barely didn't make it. But he gets in the water and he raises up his arms, and you can tell he had the time of his life. All the judges gave him a perfect 10. Now, they didn't give him a perfect 10 because they pitied him or anything else. There were actually other skiers there who were skiing on one leg or amputees are coming into the events. They were giving him a 10 because he was out there doing the impossible and loving it. Now, I can tell you that during the conversation, while I was watching it, there are hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands, watching this event. And most everybody's going, oh, I can't do this. I would never be able to ski or snowboard across this pond. And I'm talking about 20, 30-year-olds who are actually really good. And now to see this guy on one leg, he has every excuse in the book not to ski down a mountain, especially not to ski going into a pond of water with a ski on. Now, how are you going to get out? But yet, he took this impossible and made it an adventure. And his energy was so infectious and so full of life. He was just soaking up the marrow of life. It was awesome. It made me think and it made me smile. And I absolutely loved it. And he deserved a 10 for what he was doing. Now, flash back to these two women talking about how impossible it is to do a 5K. All they were doing during the whole time I was overhearing their conversation was complaining. They were complaining and justifying why they couldn't do a 5K. I can't do a 5K because I'm too old, I don't have enough time. The excuses went on and on and on. Now, granted, some of these excuses are valid, right? And they're especially valid to the individual. But is it true that they don't have time? No. They were in the gym and they were taking time to complain, so they had time. They could have been on the treadmill running or at least walking fast. There's all kinds of options. It's just a paradigm shift of thinking about what is impossible to what is possible and what is that reality. What is the story that you're telling yourself in that moment? You see, the guy going down the mountain, his story was drastically different than these two women. His story was one about passion, about living life, about going for it, about going all in. These two women, their story was about, hey, I can get connection by complaining. I don't have to do the 5K because I am now putting my story as I don't have to, and I'm getting attention, love, connection by complaining about it, by telling everybody my problems and the reasons I couldn't do this event. Now, we all do this at some level. We just do. It's human nature. So my tip for you today is, where in your life are you consciously or subconsciously not doing something because it's impossible? Is it starting a new business? Is it starting a new relationship or ending a relationship? Is it actually impossible for you to get up in the morning and meditate every day? Is it because you have kids? The reality is it's not impossible. So what I want you to do is open up your journal, go ahead and write down something. Think in the past. There's got to be one thing that you're thinking, yeah, it's just too hard. I couldn't do that. Or it's great to see these other people out there doing an Ironman, doing a half marathon, walking a 5K. Whatever your goal is, instead of just thinking it's good for them to do, I want you to think about, what could you do? What's holding you back and what do you find impossible? And now when you've got that story, ask yourself, is it true? Is it really, really true that it's impossible? My guess is you're going to find that it's not. And I hope this inspires you. Certainly the guy coming down the mountain inspired me, but at the same time, these two women complaining also inspired me. So you get messages from both people. You get lessons from those that are doing things positively, and you get lessons from those people that are doing things the way that you don't believe that they should be done. Great teachers in both scenarios. So go to your journal, write it down. I really encourage you, because it really does help. Share it in the Author of Your Own Story community. That way you can get some feedback. Also, by putting it out there into the world, you're actually being vulnerable, and it forces you to play at a bigger level. Also, go to authorofyourownstory.com. I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. We'll get more tips, tricks, and hacks there, as well as access to our free 7-day course on how to be the author of your own story. That's it for me today. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
At Author of Your Own Story, we believe in taking a holistic approach to your health, where you aren't just physically healthy, but your entire mind, body, and soul is operating at its most optimal level. To get started in creating holistic health, download our free holistic health checklist at authorofyourownstory.com/body-gift. And don't forget to be the author of your own story.